Not a how-to, me having fun and helping me grow on my woodworking journey. Come along. Duplication. That is the toughest thing I've come across so far. If you've ever had a client come back and want the exact same piece year after year, that can be a heavy bill to fill. Now, this is the piece that I've done a few times. This was the first year. This was the second. You can see the differences. Now my notes for the first year look like this. So we got smarter and tried to get every detail down to every centimeter, spacing, and wood. We really got better at taking good notes.
We saved this template, but I need to cut this piece out on the scroll saw, this piece out on the scroll saw, same with this and this. So how to get that to a piece of wood is the question. So I'm going to try and do one on a scratch piece of paper. So I have this big bright light that I use that I hang above so I can see when I'm sanding stuff. But I thought what I could do with this, except it's blinding me a little bit, is to take this and see if I can see through it and then draw it. So it worked. I was able to trace it. Now I'm going to just cut this out and glue it onto my wood after some significant amount of sanding.
Another piece of duplicating the project was to match the circle up precisely as we did the year before, along with the slats that go into the circle. Now I have it drawn out on the template, but I thought I would try to use a compass to match it up more precisely. I could trace it like I did before, but I was thinking that it might be nice just to draw it on the piece of wood with a compass. Now I don't know about you, but I've always struggled with the compass of it skipping and not quite going the direction that I wanted to. So here's a tip that I've learned when using the compass. The compass tip and the pencil need to match exactly. And that sometimes is what causes me to skip and trip up when I'm doing my circles. Yeah, I either go too far one way or the other and it's not matching. So I get my ruler out and make sure that I have everything done the way I need it to.
And granted, I am a bit of a newbie at this. So let's see if we can get a circle to work. And if I can actually master this, then probably I can draw it directly on the wood after I've sanded it. But we're going to do a couple practice rounds to see what we can come up with. So not bad. I must have wrinkled the paper a little bit right there, but that worked. Another piece of duplicating a project is making sure that you have the right wood on hand. So here's my stash, but even so, you have to have some boards that are wide enough and thick enough so your project will work.
Years past, we've used walnut for the base and the stand. Unfortunately, when I pulled out my stash this year, neither or either pieces of walnut were thick enough or wide enough.
So that's a pretty big chunk of wood to try and cut out on the scroll saw. I've got a meaty blade I'm going to use and get cracking. This shouldn't be too bad. But that's what I had to take into account, is the thickness of each of the pieces that go into this art piece when trying to duplicate. I didn't have walnut this year, so we used Chechen for the base and the stand. We got a little more detailed in our notes because Chechen is really hard. Most people don't realize, but walnut's pretty soft. So we had to use a different drill bit and different brass fittings to attach this to the wood. We also got more detailed in where our fishing line goes, because to get this to float, we have to hang it by the fishing line. And that's why we took the measurements last year, so we know how to hang it. Because if you get a little wonky with your hanging, the circle's off, and so are the little slats that go on the circle. Plus, everything needs at least 4 to 5 coats of poly. We have to glue it. Quite the process.
The trickiest piece to this project was the assembly with the fishing line. We had to get the fishing line just so between the base and the top bar of the art piece. That was definitely tricky, and getting it even, oh,